All right, Shalom Israel. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect. And through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, I want to get into this lesson entitled "The Life of a Man of the Lord was always spectacular," which really you can even go further and say the life and death, all right, of a man of the Lord was always spectacular. Why is that important? Because we can rest assured that we're doing the right thing, man. And even though we stand out in this world, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. And just another thing which through the spirit, for you Akim out there, if it's hard for you to do a lesson, or maybe you might have the mind to do a lesson, but you overthinking that thought that the Most High gave you. Don't, man. Just get into it and let the Lord, carry you. All right. And this is the book of Judges, chapter 13, verse 1. Which, as a matter of fact, before I even start reading the scriptures, I want to get into this definition. Spectacular. And why did I use it? All right. So simple Google search for the word spectacular, meaning beautiful in a dramatic and eye-catching way. All right. So the life of a man of the Lord, it would be a spectacle for all to see. It would be a spectacle to all to see. Now, I was gonna start with Samson. All right, but gotta start off with Yahushua, man. Yahushua, his life was spectacular. Just the way he was born was in a spectacular fashion. Let me see if I can find it. All right, so this is Saint Matthew chapter 2, verse 7. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, Go and search diligently for the young child. And when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. All right. So Yahushua's birth was so spectacular that it was a star, that presented, it was a star that was over, Yahushua, so that just showing you how spectacular his birth was, man. It wasn't just an ordinary birth, man. As a matter of fact, when you go into the book of Luke, all right, the angel tells Mary that her child will be born of the Holy Spirit, and through the Spirit, we are the children. We were also born of the Holy Spirit, and brothers can attest, man. They may have, it may come to find out that they weren't even supposed to be born, man, or they might have been premature or whatever, But how about Shimi Hawashai, him being a spectacular, or him, always, what's the word I'm looking for? Him always, making known his works, him always making known his work, because the Most High is very, very specific in what he does. You know, and him making known his works. All right. He what's the word I'm looking for? He set aside his men. You know, he set aside his men. You know. So it says, when they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them till they came and stood till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. Okay, so perfect example. All right, which was the first example was Yahweh Shai. All right, now let's get into I want to get into another example. Actually, let me see, which is Isaac. All right, so this is let me see, Genesis. Chapter 17, verse 15. And God said unto Abraham, as for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. And real quick, I know Sarai means princess, but the Lord changed her name to Sarah, so I just wanted to see how to say that in the Hebrew. Oh, Sarah, which means noble woman. Okay. Let me see. Test out. Okay, yep, they were right. Sarai, which is princess, and Sarah, which is noble woman, shall her name be. And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Then Abraham, Abraham, all right, which means father exalted, no, father of multitudes, Salakia, fell upon his face and laughed, and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? And Abraham said unto God, O that Ishmael might live before thee. And God said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son indeed. So the Most High said it again to confirm it. Like, nah. I know what I said. Sarah, which is an older woman, stricken in age, all right, which goes to show you that at that time, too, you know, which goes to show you that, the miracle that the Most High is getting ready to perform. And God said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. Okay? So, again, another spectacular birth. So he was born of a woman that was, naturally at the time, or even in this day and age, you're not gonna hear about a 90-year-old woman giving birth. She'll die. You know, you might not even, you can't even get pregnant. I wouldn't think. But hey, again, going into that word spectacular, beautiful in a dramatic and eye-catching way. And if that ain't dramatic, I don't know what is, man. And the Most High, hey, man, the Most High is hey, man, he's a good producer. Let's put it like that, man. The Most High is a perfect producer. To where when you read the scriptures and the Lord is giving you understanding, you see how particular the Most High is, man. This says, Abraham. Oh, Salakia. And as for Ishmael, back at Genesis 17 and 20, and as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac. So Ishmael got a blessing, but it was like it was a consolation prize, if you will. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this time in the next year. And he left off speaking with him, and God went up from Abraham. Okay. So another example of a man of the Lord being born of a spectacular birth. All right. This is 1 Samuel chapter 1 and verse 1. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, and the son of Tohu, the son of Zoph, and Ephrathite. And he had 2 wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. And Salakia, just to backtrack real quick, and Isaac, he received the covenant, man, in which later on went down to Jacob. The covenant, what? To rule the whole earth. All right, the covenant, all right, of, that his seed, all right, that Abraham's seed, all right, which Abraham had many kids, all right. That's why his name is Abraham, father of many, many nations, all right, father of multitude, but specifically through Isaac, all right, specifically through Isaac would Abraham's seed be blessed. So that's what made just his birth and everything surrounding it so spectacular. And Samuel was a great man of the Lord, man. So great that the Lord gave him 2 books, in the book of life, so that his name would be remembered forever. All right. So this is 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 1. Now there was a certain man, Ramathaim Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zoph, an Ephrathite. And he had 2 wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. And this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priests of Yahweh, were there. And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife, and to all her sons and her daughters portions. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but Yahweh had shut up her womb. And her adversary also provoked her sore for to make her fret, because Yahweh had shut up her womb. So basically, Elkanah's other wife, Peninnah, was trying to stir up wrath and basically make Hannah jealous. But the Most High was dealing with Hannah. As it said, and her adversary also provoked her sore for to make her fret, because Yahweh had shut up her womb. And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of Yahweh, so she provoked her. Therefore she wept and did not eat. Then Elkanah her husband to her, Hannah, why weepest? Then said Elkanah her husband to her, Hannah, why weepest thou? And why eatest thou not? And why is thy heart grieved? And am not I better to thee than 10 sons? So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon the seat by the post of the temple of Yahweh, and she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto Yahweh, and wept sore. And she vowed a vow, and said, O Yahweh of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thy handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thy handmaid, but will give unto thy handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto Yahweh all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. You know? And it came to pass, as she continued praying before Yahweh, that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah spake, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. Skip down to, trying to see what I gotta skip. To skip straight down to the point. Verse 19, they rose up in the morning early and worshipped before Yahweh, and returned and came to their house to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah, meaning they had sex, his wife, and Yahweh remembered her. Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come about, after Hannah had conceived, that she bare a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, because I have asked him of Yahweh. You know, which Samuel means Shemayallah, all right, which means hear of Yahweh. You know, and like I said, you know, Samuel, hey, he became a great prophet in Israel, man. You know, he became a great prophet, a great priest, you know, and he walked with the Lord all the days of his life, you know, and he had a spectacular birth, man. You know, it took years, you know, for Samuel to, Hannah to be pregnant with Samuel, man. You know, but once the Lord made that miracle, man, when you go into 1 Samuel, the 2nd chapter, that's a beautiful prayer that Hannah had made into the Lord, man. You know, and hey, you go to the book of Judges, same thing with Samson, same thing. You know, his mom was barren, but the Lord opened up her womb. All right, and then Samson was a great man of the Lord, man. You know, so hey, man, great men of the Lord came from spectacular beginnings, and their ends, you know, or their deaths rather, you know, would be spectacular as well, man. You know, like when Yahushua, going back into the first example of how Yahushua, his birth was spectacular, and his death, it was spectacular as well, man. You know, let me see. I found it. This is Matthew 27, verse 50, at the crucifixion of Yahushua. And I says, Yahushua, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the spirit. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain and two, from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent, and the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose, and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went to the holy city, and appeared unto many. Now when the centurion and they that were with him watching Yahushua saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, Truly, this was the Son of God. You know? And the same goes for, I could think of Elijah, you know, which, as the scripture says, some of us shall not sleep, some of us shall not taste of death. You know, but either way it may go, the people are going to know, all right, that Yahweh Shem Yahushai was with us. Our life, as I said, is spectacular. To where even in this world, you might have stood out in some way, shape, or form, or you might have saw yourself differently from the rest of the crowd that you might have been hanging with, you know, or the way you were born, you know. As I mentioned before, you might have been a premature child, you know, we're supposed to grow up with all types of ailments, but the Lord healed you from that, man, you know. Or shit, you might not even supposed to be born anyway, man. You know, your parents, you grow up, your parents tell you, you know, I wanted your mother to get an abortion, you know, some shit, you know, but hey, look at you now, born of the Holy Spirit, all right, and you know, hey, man, I just rest assured that no matter what happens, you know, the Most High is going to allow us to shine in that day, man. You know, just as our you know, our life was spectacular as far as, you know, how we were born, you know, so will our death be, man. However it may be, you know, as I said, you know, Stephen, man, the Lord allowed him to see Yahushua, man. Well, the Lord allowed him to see Yahweh and Yahushua, you know, so, hey, man, you know, just a little faith booster, you know, something that the Spirit had led me to get into, you know, so, you know, Lord willing, you all can edify. Shalom to the elect.